Well, good morning. Thanks for joining me out here on the beach this morning. It's a bit foggy out here this morning, but that's okay. It's got its own beauty. Today I want to talk about remaining teachable. When I first came to recovery, I wasn't very teachable. There was plenty that I needed to learn, but I wasn't teachable. I read something this morning: to be teachable, you need to be reachable. And I was not reachable. So the beginnings of recovery, it was tough to be teachable at that point because I really didn't want it. I didn't want it until I wanted it. I had to be reachable to become teachable. And, I was resistant in the beginning. I was very resistant. But once the pain got enough, that I had that willingness to open my mind to the possibility that maybe you guys knew what you were talking about. That made a big difference in my life. And so I became reachable and then teachable. The question is, have I remained teachable? And I'd like to think that I have. I think that I'm teachable. But I have to admit, there are times when, I hear certain people sharing in a meeting or something like that, and I don't know, maybe tune them out somehow, or they have less time than me, so I don't need to listen to what they have to say, I have to be honest and let you know these things, that I am not the perfect guy in recovery, I still have my character defects. But it's a reminder for me, too, that I still have those character defects, and that it would benefit me to remain teachable. Now, there's a part of me, of course, the ego especially, that says, teach me? What are you talking about? I'm an expert. No, I am no expert. In fact, one of the things that I feel like I need to do for this channel is like a disclaimer. Look, everything I have to say may be total BS. I don't know. I'm just sharing my experience, strength, and hope. I'm not an expert. I am not a professional in the field. I'm just another bozo on the bus. And I'm sharing what happened to me more than anything. I try not to tell people how to live. That's not what this program's about. It's not about telling you what you're doing wrong or how to do your life right. It's about telling you what I did to get where I am today. That's not always the easiest thing to do. Sometimes you want to tell people, you need to do this and do that, and then you get all up in their business and stuff, and that's not cool. That's not cool. So remaining teachable means that I have to remain reachable. It means I have to listen up, no matter who's sharing. They say you cannot transmit something you haven't got. Well, we all got something to transmit. Some of it's good, and some of it not so good. But I think the main thing is to listen up when there's somebody that is sharing, and it doesn't matter if they've got 40 years or 40 minutes. They've got something you need to hear, possibly. I remember sitting in a meeting one day, and there was a guy, it was his first meeting. And you know how some people, they come in, they stay real quiet for a long time. Well, this guy was one of those that spoke right away. Was not afraid to speak, talk about his situation. And he had been sleeping in the park for weeks on end, and everything he owned was in a backpack. that the previous night someone had stolen his backpack. Everything he owned was in a backpack and somebody stole it. I have to say that was good for me to hear that. He was able to transmit something for me. It was a good reminder, and I thanked him for that. I thanked him for reminding me what I'm missing out on out there. Because by staying sober, I'm missing out. I'm missing out on a lot of things. None of it's any good that I can think of, but I am missing out on quite a number of things by staying sober and trying to do the right thing. You know, in early recovery, you hear things like the 3 keys of recovery: honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. We practice those things in early recovery, and hopefully the honesty stays. But I've found that the open-mindedness and even the willingness sometimes can fade after being in recovery for some time. I remember one time, there was a fella in the program that he and I we never clicked, you know? It wasn't that I disliked him, and I don't know if he disliked me, but we clashed, okay? And I'm sure you guys know somebody in your life like that. And so every time that he would speak up, my ears would close. I would become closed-minded. I don't suggest that. Because, you know, there was one day I was struggling really bad, and I opened my heart in a meeting, and I spoke about what was troubling me. And when he spoke up, the words that came out of his mouth were exactly what I needed to hear to bring me out of that. How many times had he spoken the words that I needed to hear, and I didn't hear them because I was closed-minded? Open-mindedness is not something for early recovery, although it is, but it's not just for early recovery. Open-mindedness is for us as alcoholics in recovery. I think it's important to stay open-minded. You know, we don't know everything. Of course, sometimes we think we do, but we don't. We don't. Recovery is a process. It's not a destination, it's a journey. And so, my journey in recovery, I have to maintain those 3 keys of recovery: honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. You ever heard the expression, when a student is ready, the teacher will appear? Well, as a student of recovery, I have to remain teachable. I have to be ready so that the teacher will appear. If my mind is closed and the teacher shows up, I'm not going to learn anything. So that open-mindedness is not something just for early recovery. Being open-minded is a part of recovery. To be teachable, I need to be reachable. And I can't be reachable with a closed mind. Recovery is about change. Recovery is about growth. And I can't do either one with a closed mind. So I hope you guys can stay open-minded, remain teachable, as well as reachable. And you guys have a great day. Be happy, joyous, and free. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.